welcome, welcome. Welcome to all of my subscribers that have been around for a long time since I started, since the very beginning, but also welcome to those who have just came on board. You are welcome here. There are only a few house rules. I just like that you would share because sharing is caring. Please be kind to those that leave comments. Don't come off as abrasive and attacking others because they may have different views or opinions as yours. And just be nice. We have positive vibes here. So, on today, I am going to be discussing something. I'm going to put the top here that I said that I was going to discuss. I believe it was on Sunday. This is the book that I have been telling you guys about right here. It's called Memoirs of a Wounded Soul. This is layer 1. It is called Unraveling the Layers, Memoirs of a Wounded Soul. And as I told you guys on Sunday, that I was going to be sharing this book with you. Excuse me. This book is a very, very good book. I actually was attending a church, and one of the sisters at the church put a call out on Facebook actually to some people who wanted to share their story, and I wanted to share my story of not necessarily healing and redemption, but healing, redemption, cleansing, my healing that I received cleaned me from the very inside out. And you will find out because I do plan on reading my story in this book, but I will not tell you my story, that it's my story, until after I read it. And it will not be one of the ones in the very beginning because in my opinion, I'm saving the very best for last. In this book, there are a lot of stories, about life lessons. Some of them are poems. So what I'm going to do today is basically just tell you about the book. As I said, the publishers is Destiny Fulfilled Publishing. I will read the dedication of the book because the dedication is to every woman. I'm going to read it right now. It says, "We dedicate this book to everyone who is tired of covering up their emotional wounds and is ready to heal. For every woman who has suffered abuse by the hands of someone that they loved and trusted. For every woman who has ever felt less than because they weren't validated as a young girl. For every woman who had to bury her confidence so that she could fit in. For every woman who had been forced to stifle her voice. For every woman who refuses to apologize for her past. For every woman who is fighting to be heard, seen, and understood. For every woman who has dusted herself and got back up when she fell. Sis, this book is for you." Y'all, I actually wrote my story 2 years ago. I just purchased the book. I don't want to go too much into it. I was told that excuse me, I'm trying to talk too fast. As a contributing writer, that I would get 6 copies, which I never got, and that's okay. That's neither here nor there. But I just want to share with you on today. I won't be before you long. I want to share one story, and as I said, I will not be telling you who is writing this. Well, you know what? It really doesn't matter because it's a published book. I am giving the author credit. Yes, I will be telling you. Like I said though, I won't be reading mine until the very end because to my surprise, you guys, when I actually received the book on last Friday, I found out that my story was a lot longer than a lot of the stories in this book. I am one with a gift of gab, as most of you probably already know, but I want to see. Gosh, they are wonderful. I want to just read to you guys some of the, read to you guys some of the tables of contents. There's one called Queens Arise. There's one called Becoming Whole, The Emptied Heart, Becoming, Nobody But God, A Hidden Cry, Growth, My Love, Passion, Beauty, and You Are Enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look through here really, really quick. Actually, you guys know what? I'm going to read all of that in a bag of chips. The reason I'm reading all of that in a bag of chips is because all of that in a bag of chips is actually the story of one of the co-authors. And I've never read it. So we're going to be reading all of that in a bag of chips out of Memoirs of a Wounded Soul, Layer 1. This is an anthology, so all of the stories are absolutely positively true. This is all of that in a bag of chips. And I'm looking for my glasses. The writing in this book is italicized, so it actually is italic, I shouldn't have said italicized. It's actually a good size. However, I sometimes have a really, really hard time. I think this is good because the one good thing about her, and I have to give her props, is that she did use big writing. And actually her story it's like 15 pages. So we'll come back. We're going to read it, and we're going to read some of it, and then we'll come back on tomorrow and read. Y'all, we're just going to do the whole book. That's what we're going to do. So all of that, and I'm just sporadically just going to go through the book and read the stories. This is written by Jessica LeeAnn, who is the co-author of the book. She and another young lady, Melissa Sampson, actually wrote it, but there are authors in the book, such as myself. I grew up feeling that it was wrong to be sure of who I was, how I looked, or what I wanted. And because of this, I hid my level of confidence for many years. As a young girl, whenever I felt or said something in confidence, I was made to feel that I thought that I was better than someone else, or that I thought that I was all that and a bag of chips. I'm not really sure where this statement came from, but I know that it is condescending, it's hurtful, and it discouraged me. The tone of a person's voice or the look on their face when they would say this statement to me was an indicator that it was not good to think so highly of yourself. Since I didn't want people to give me that look or speak to me in that tone ever again in life, I dialed back on my confidence. I stopped sharing what I wanted to do. I thought twice about how I wore my hair or which outfit I wore around certain people. I hid my light. I tried my best to fit in with other people who weren't confident in who they were because it was a cool thing to do. Or was it? Many of us have done this and are still currently doing this. We have friends who are bitter from heartache and men bash. What do we do? Pretend that we agree and join in on the men bashing session? We have friends in our circles whose children misbehave frequently. What do? Try to find something negative to say about our kids so that the other person doesn't feel like they're failing at parenting. Our coworkers complain about the job, about the boss. You have to fit in. So what do? throw a jab or two in as well. Trust me, I've been there, done that. We do this because we don't want to shine too brightly, because it offends someone else who hasn't discovered their light. We don't want to be the smartest in the room, because then we're labeled a nerd or a goody two shoes. We don't want to be sensible, because then we think we're too good, or that we're better than the people who engage in these types of conversations, right? My confidence level not only affected my ability to shine at work or around my friends, but it also made me believe that I wasn't good enough for a certain caliber of men. Wow. I thought that men who were successful and established were out of my league, so I would settle for guys that I knew I was stronger than. How many of you guys can say that? You look at the man who had the good job, who had everything going on, but you wouldn't even let him approach you, or you wouldn't approach him because you felt like he was out of your league, and you settled for what I call bucket heads, because they have a whole bunch of mess in that head of theirs. I've always, all my life, called a lot of the men that I've dated bucket heads, because they're full of a whole bunch of mess. My strength was a magnet for them. And I constantly found myself dealing with me who needed to borrow my strength. The problem with that is this: where would I get my strength renewed when I begin to feel weak? Not embracing my confidence made life very challenging for me. For many years, I thought I wasn't acceptable in the community to be smart, desire to dress nicely, speak properly, or want to have success. I was often told that I sound white because I enunciate. Like, what does that even mean? Now, let's stop here. I've also been told that I talk white because I enunciate. What is talking or acting white? Put it in the comments. Let me know what that is. Now, I believe that there are some people who are strictly 100% positively straight up sellouts. I believe that. But I don't believe that I sound white. I believe I enunciate, just like Jessica said in the book. That doesn't mean that you're white. People would look at my outfit and say things like, "Oh, so you think you're cute, huh?" rather than giving me a compliment, which made it hard for the same thing. Years of being confined made me feel like an outsider. Because of the people that I was surrounded with, I was made to feel that since I felt highly of myself, I was putting someone else down, or that I thought that I was better than them because I cared for my appearance. Where I spent my time, who I hung out with, which restaurants I wanted to eat at, I was labeled as bougie. I was made to think that being bougie was having standards that were unacceptable. I mean, after all, I grew up in one of the roughest cities in the Bay Area. How dare I think that I could make it out of my hood? My parents didn't. My friends didn't. Who was I to think that I could do better or to have more? Later in life, I realized that this is a sarcastic mindset, which does not come from God. Not at all. No one around me had an abundant mindset, and therefore I was expected also to to have a mindset of lack and defeat. I didn't know that we were created to think abundantly and to create a life of abundance, prosperity, and love. The people I grew up with didn't know this either, which is why I was criticized for wanting to grow. The words from my peers and some of my family members really questioned my confidence. I stopped believing that I could actually live out the dreams that I had. Because of the things people said to me, I thought that I'd never be successful in any area of my life. I remember as a child there was a saying that went something like this: sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. That's definitely untrue. Words hurt in ways that we could never imagine. As women, mothers, wives, and leaders, we must be mindful of the things that we speak to our children. Our words are powerful, seeds that we plant in our child's mind, and when they grow, the seeds we plant grow as well. Those seeds grow into thoughts, those thoughts into behavior patterns, those behavior patterns become the actions that define their character. When we plant the words of negativity, our children develop negative habits, traits, and patterns and become adults with layers of pain, shame, insecurity, and rejection. We have to speak positivity into our children. We have to let our children know that it's okay to be confident, unique, and brilliant. Yes, they'll encounter others who unfortunately will not receive the same guidance. But as long as we are using our words to empower and uplift our children, they won't be fragile and accept defeat or discouragement easily from others. So you guys, I read about 9 pages. So I'm going to stop right there. As I said, this is a book, this story is called All That in a Bag of Chips. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Jessica's story and talk about how we sometimes cannot pour into our children, cannot pour into our grandchildren, cannot pour into our little sisters and our brothers because we're worried about making others feel less than. Let me tell you something. As most of you guys know, I have 3 children that I bore, that I carried in my womb. Okay? My older son, his name is Caleb, was very shy. I was very shy. Caleb was overweight. I was overweight. So some of the likeness that I have, Caleb had. And what you have to do with your children when you are teaching them, when you are pouring into them, is you have to let your children know Sally Sue or even Shaniqua may not have it, but just because you have it does not make you a bad person. The hope is that when you pour into your children and tell your children how beautiful they are, how eloquent they speak, how well they enunciate words, the hope is that if you tell your children, they will in turn want to share with other children, and then we'll have a world of raising children that are helping one another. Never get in a place where you know who you are and your confidence is way up here, but to fit in you bring it down here so that you can make friends. Because what you're doing is you're actually robbing yourself. Know who you are, walk in your purpose, and walk in your worth. Because as I always say, you matter. So that has been part of the story of All That in a Bag of Chips out of our Memoirs of a Wounded Soul. As I said to you guys before, I'm actually in here. You can purchase this book on Amazon under Unraveling the Layers. This is layer 1, which means there are other layers. Melissa Sampson also has written a book, something in reference to unraveling the layers. But what I want you guys to do is buy this book for yourself, buy this book for your friend. I get no monetary anything for it. But just in reading my story and reading what the author has already put in here, this book is for every woman who's had something taken from her. So what we'll do is we'll come back tomorrow. Tomorrow the hope is to finish the story of Jessica LeeAnn, to go into a poem, and then we'll go into another story. I hope that you guys have enjoyed Unraveling the Layers, Memoirs of a Wounded Soul. I can't wait till we get to mine. I don't know if I'm going to use it as the last one or somewhere in the middle, but I did just want to share this with you guys. I will have the information in the description box telling you where you can find it. I literally purchased this book, and this book has 263 pages in it. In the back of it, it does have all of the writers. It tells you a little bit about them. I'm proud of myself. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Carol's Daily Thoughts. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And definitely share this out, because you know as well as I know that there is a woman, there is a young girl, there is someone in your life or someone that you know of that is hurting. And this book can help them to heal. Thank you so much. God bless each and every one of you. I'll talk to you all real soon. Bye-bye.